Make a list of all your fears and try to knock it out as quick as possible. Run towards your fears. You know, you guys have probably heard this before. It's like, run towards your fears. What people don't tell you is like, all your gifts lie behind your fears. What your biggest fear is your biggest gift. It's inversely related. Like if you have a scarcity fear, you're going to be really rich one day when you can figure out how to hold that. If you have a fear of being seen, you're meant to be seen. And people are going to love seeing you, right? And a simple analogy for this that I love, and I've used in several videos, is it goes to like animal behavior is a really simple way to understand human nature. And if we have a storm here and a bull down here, a bull runs towards the storm, so they're in it the least amount of time possible. But most humans, and the storm can be symbolic for fear, is like humans will run away from the storm and they're actually sitting in the storm longer as it's raining outside. That's why I thought today would be a perfect video for this. So what happens is a lot of times too, and it's like we sit in the discomfort of the pain until we're ready to move out of it, right? It's like we don't choose discomfort, but we actually do because it's like, that's uncomfortable, but I can endure it. And then we endure it as long as we can until it's like, I can't handle this any further. And it's like, if you don't ever want to like be like, I don't want to handle this anymore, it's like run towards your fears. When you can make a list of your fears, and that's what I'd say is like the actual step today is like, make a list of all your fears. Write them down. Like take them out of your head. Number one, and putting them on paper is like if you can see it, you know it's not as real as it feels in your head. In your head, everything feels really real. When you write it down, you're like you start to take the charge away from it, and then it's like maybe there's 5, maybe there's 10, maybe you got 20 fears. Whatever it is, the number doesn't matter because if you have more fears, you have more gifts that are going to open up to you when you can run towards them. But it's simply understanding what your fears are, and they're always going to be there until you learn to face them. But once you learn to face them, you take the power away from them, and then behind them, they're almost like this like big monster, and then right behind it, when it turns around, it's a big fluffy teddy bear with a golden ticket being like, here you go. And it's like the human psyche has many fears, and it's a cool process because we endlessly run away from our fears. But when you can open up to your fears and you can allow yourself to take it slow and easy, and that's what, if you guys haven't seen the nervous system video, like that one's so important for this because when you're addressing your fears and you're running towards your fears, you actually have to go slower. You actually need to, soothe your nervous system, which can be as simple as like taking a deep breath, grounding, walking slow, or urgency can't exist when you're dealing with your fears. And in order to get through your fears, you need to approach them in a non-urgent sense. And you almost have to go slower. Like I said, like that's a big key. But one of the biggest things I've seen is like every moment in my life that I had something I was afraid of, it was the entrance to the door to success. And I'm not saying don't sabotage and burn yourself out by running through all your fears in one day. It's like methodically map them out, and maybe over the next 3 months, maybe over the next 30 days, maybe over the next 2 weeks, whatever your list is in comparison to size is like, don't stress yourself out going through, the process, but allow yourself to go through the process at your own speed. And the more discomfort you can find without forcing it upon yourself, the more comfort you're going to create. And I know it sounds beautiful, and it's a hard process to go through, but in a life, I'm almost seeing this analogy as like life's an ocean of discomfort with islands of comfort. And it's like whenever you find a comfortable spot, that's somewhere that you get to sit and rest, but not stay. And if you stay there, life will get so chaotic and disruptive that it'll move you from that island back into the water. But it's also like understanding like the way you face it and the way you approach it is if something is really fearful inside of you, you're going to have fun doing it. And I know it's hard to believe, but it's like, I can remember I was at some point, and I'll really relate this as something simple, as like skydiving. I was always interested in what skydiving would be like. And then I had this like subconscious fear because I hate that roller coaster feeling, right? Like, I love roller coasters, but I hate that drop. Like, it just doesn't feel good in my stomach. I'm very, very sensitive to, like, feelings, right? And that's one that it's even like, all right, I have to, like, psych myself up to be like, it's just a drop for a second, but it's like that, but I love the thrill and going fast in the loops, right? And it's like, skydiving surprised the shit out of me. And not only this, on the day I went skydiving, this is funny, we get there and it's raining, so we got delayed. And the worst thing you do is when you're doing something that you want to do that you got a little like apprehensive of, like delays just make it worse. And I was like, oh, okay, I see what's happening here. Finally, we get on the plane like 3-4 hours later, And I'm like, oh my gosh, we're freaking doing this. And then when it came time, like I'm standing outside the plane, the guy's inside. I'm like, holy shit, this is cool as shit. Ah! And then we dropped. And then it hit me. The stomach feeling doesn't exist when you're skydiving. And to anybody who's never skydived, this is so true. It's like your brain can't process how the ground is. The ground looks the same distance away for the entire free fall. Like it's you're definitely getting closer, but it's not enough for the brain to sense, so you don't get the stomach feeling. And it's like to anybody who's never skydived, it's like jumping off a boat into the water. Like you're just free falling, and that was the coolest part about skydiving is like, I felt like I was just flying through space. I was like, oh my God, there's no drop feeling. This is insane. This is dope. And then the guy had to pull my hair out because he's like, so I was just so mesmerized. And I was like, oh yeah, I forgot to breathe, but it's like that process. And it's like skydiving is really fun. It's really dope. And it's like, there's no feeling there. And it's like a lot of people are afraid to skydive when it's probably one of the coolest experiences. And there's no drop feeling like a roller coaster. So, but it's like, thing about that is like you could be missing so many opportunities in life because you have this perceived fear, and I love the word perceived there, but it's not actualized. And it's like once you go through the experience and you take it step by step, that fear is going to be obsolete. You're going to realize that fear was just something holding you back from something that was meant for you. And if it's meant for you and you take your time to it, that means you're going to go really far with it too. But as a whole, this video doesn't need to be more complicated than it needs to be. It's like, run towards your fears or don't run at them at full speed, but give yourself some time to lean into your fears. When you can flip them on their back, they don't have power over you. It opens up a doorway to your success. And the more things that you can do that you're uncomfortable with, the more comfort that you're going to create in your life. And it's like as humans, we're endlessly seeking comfort. But when we stay in that zone of stuff that we know, we're actually not creating any kind of growth. We're actually killing ourselves, which creates a whole lot of discomfort. And by endlessly leaning into stuff that we're uncomfortable with, we actually create more comfort. That's like an oxymoron, I know. But at the end of it, simply just make a list of the fears that are on your mind right now. It's most important to get it out of your head, get it on some paper. Once you get it on some paper, just figure out what you can do to knock that little bit of that fear out. Maybe it's just like, get out of your bubble. I don't know. I can't even fathom these. I don't even know what my fears are right now. I need to make a list myself. And it's like slowly break down these fears and allow yourself to move through them, because if you're feeling stuck or something's not moving, it's probably just waiting for you to get over these fears, face them, and then the next doorway opens. And when that doorway opens, I'm excited for you. I'll probably see you on the other side and be like, hey, we made it. Where are we going next? So until the next video, guys, thank you so much for being here. Peace out. Have a good day, and I'll see you on the next video.